Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to another review from myself, Ewan Spence, here on the Retro Spectrum channel, looking at some of the best of the Sinclair ZX Spectrum from the past, the first generation, when I was young, before I went to university, and what's come out in the 21st century. And here we are going to do both. Classic game from the 80s, very early in the Spectrum's run, brought up to date graphics-wise. Just literally in the last week or two from Ron Fortier. And the screenshot of the screen string loading gives it all away. Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee RX for Redux. So we've got the original artwork on the cassette up the top. It is still the original Bruce Lee game mechanic underneath. There's a couple of slight gameplay changes, just very small in terms of speeds and pokes and stuff. But the main thing here is a complete rework of the graphics. Now, I've got Ron Fortier's notes up here who did that. The original was always one of my favorites in terms of playability, but I always felt the graphics did not do the game or the legend any kind of justice. Hopefully this must... Oh my god. It's a modest update, and he hopes he goes some way to change that. My apologies for stumbling over that line. If I was professional, we would do it again. But no, we're just going to play. So here we go. Bruce Lee on the Redux. Those of you who will be familiar with the game, here we go. We'll just shift into real life now. And we call up here. There we go. It's still Datasoft's Bruce Lee. It's still the game that came out from Ocean and US Gold. So it is all in there. It's available as a free download, although you can donate to Ron for a year as a thank you for the recode. So there we go. One player, two players. So we just do one player. Computer is going to be the opponent. Yep, and we're going to play on the trusty PlayStation 4 DualShock. I'll put this on the PlayStation Portable at some point. And there we go. So those of you who haven't seen Bruce Lee before or aren't particularly familiar with it, which I'll be honest, that's me. You're just going to see a great platforming game. It's spread over about 20 so screens. You have to capture the lanterns in each level to get through to the next screen. And you've got a little bit of martial arts from Bruce Lee himself, as you have both the sumo wrestler and the ninja with his boko stick fighting through as you grab the lanterns. And this is, remember, one of the early Spectrum games that helped define quite a few genres. This is taking what was the platform game, adding in a tiny little bit of beat 'em up action. A couple of hits, enemies disappear. That's all in there. But it's coupled up with platform antics as well. Early on, as a retro game, early on it wasn't a retro game, but now we look back at it from the retro scene and we realise that this has got so many fundamental elements in it that helped shape early gaming. You have platform, you have mapping, which we all know that Spectrum players certainly loved. You had the start of the, you can see the likes of Golden Axe and everything in this, even though you've got punch and flying kick and duck, which comes in useful later for the swinging blades of death. And you've got a terribly slow jump. There we go. And of course, I'm going to get stuck in the corner. I'm feeling completed, so I do want to get that last lantern, but that means I need to get just enough time so I can crawl up here without getting caught by the wrestler. There we go. Let's jump over. And now flying kick to the head. Bruce Lee as a game is very simple to understand. Controls, you can see left, right, jump, and your flying jumps as well. And your kicks, if you're static, you punch. If you're holding on left and right, you will do the flying kick through the air. Grab the lanterns, and there we go. It is not a huge number of screens in the game. As I said, it's about 20 or so. And pretty standard now platform techniques used by the game. Of course, they're pretty standard now, but when Bruce Lee came out, these were new mechanics. You know, this was, for many people, this was the first time they saw a game that looked and acted like this, that was incredibly fast moving in terms of the main graphics, in terms of how fast Bruce Lee and the other characters moved around. But for many, the graphics were a little bit of a weak point. This game didn't start out on the Spectrum. It's a port over from the C64. And the colours just didn't quite make it through. So those of you who will be familiar with the original will know exactly what I mean by that. So this is where Ron has gone with the new graphics. He originally said he was just going to rework the pixel art with a quick hack on our main character, so he looked a little bit more like Bruce Lee. And then, he's talking, like with everybody in the community, he's talked about it online. And everyone just encouraged him to go a little bit further, a little bit better, a bit more colours, bring back the green skin to the sumo wrestler. And he also includes you the poke, so you can change that back to white if you feel the need. And you have the same game underneath, but with just a little bit more of what we expect from the graphics in a Spectrum. Oh, I got zapped by the fire. There we go, through that time. Sorry, got a pause till I think there. Should this have come out like this with the graphics? Well, it could have done. I think that's one of the things we have to be aware of. But that didn't stop it first time around. What we now have is we have something that just feels even more like a Spectrum game while still respecting the original game. And I just love the love that is now in place for this game. So congratulations. Will it mean that more people will rediscover the game? I think so. It certainly brought me back to the game, and I, just played it from a friend's game, and oh yeah, that was it. That was Bruce Lee. But now I've come back, and I can see the lineage that you have. That really should have killed me there. There we go. The stop on that phrase has actually done that. So don't stop over the fire. It's gonna do it again. Punch, kick, do whatever you need to do. Aha! Electrified the ninja. Dead ninja. Dead ninja. Dead Bruce Lee. And game over. That is the reworked graphics, but still that core exciting gameplay of Bruce Lee. So here's the thing. A lot of retrospective reviews in this one goes, it's quite short. It's only 20 screens. It doesn't take long to finish. It just loops around again and makes it a little bit harder. The ninja and the sumo wrestler come back much quicker. But there is actually a really nice appeal to a game that is not going to... You're not going to spend months and months and months on it, or multiple live streams on Twitch, or trying to print out every single screen in Lords of Midnight so you win the prize at the end of it. There's something to be said for a game that is long, that's just long enough and not too much, and that is Bruce Lee. And of course, when you come on to do things like speed running or one live runs through the game, then it's a really good game for doing that. And look, the love that has went into the new graphics is very clearly on show. So really, really love the look that you've got here. It does feel even more Spectrum-y than it was before. If you're looking for a game that's just very well, I've left it on the keyboard controls, haven't I? Yeah, because for some reasons you need to reset the controls every time you die. So that's okay. We'll just rage quit with all F4 and load it in again. Doesn't take much. There we go. So yeah, we've got to change that back to Kempston. There we go. The graphics that were functional, passable when the game first came out, they now make it feel more Spectrum-y. So there's a little bit of obviously forward looking. The level of each screen, the design of the challenges builds up nicely over the gameplay. you know, you can do it as just, I'm just going to run and avoid you all the time, or you can take them on in your little yellow jumpsuit. It's not quite the yellow jumpsuit, but the thing you need to change in the game code so you get the classic yellow jumpsuit, yeah, that's in the download file as well. Yeah, it's Bruce Lee, Redux. It's just as much fun as it was before, and in fact, with the clear look, the more sort of, yep, this is what a game should look like on the Spectrum. It's just lifted it up just a little bit more. It's found that little extra punch to give it a bit more kick, to just really turn the 20th century classic into a 21st century treasure. Bruce Lee on the Spectrum. Redux. Link will be in the comments. Go find it. Go download it. Sorry, I mean, if you're expecting a nice polished end for the review, it ain't going to happen. I'm just going to keep playing, so you're going to have to, you know, fade in the title screen or something, and that's about the only way you're actually going to, oh, yeah. It's recommended.